I can't believe I'm gonna do this video. Now, Lockdown's getting a lot of heat, bad heat actually. People saying it was horrible, saying the booking was really bad, and to be completely honest with you, I thought this was one of their best shows in the last year. Overall wrestling quality, overall booking quality, just no shenanigans, no pointless run-ins, just let me get into it, okay? I want to make this point here before I go any further, that this show was easier to sit through and was better. Maybe not individual wrestling match quality better, but easier to sit through and more enjoyable than both the Ring of Honor shows, both the Showdown and the Sun shows. And I would say this was, to sit through, it was easier to sit through, and I enjoyed it more than WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania had some better matches, but the undercard matches and the first hour of WrestleMania was horrendous. The booking for WrestleMania was horrendous. The structure, the entrances, the overall, just everything of WrestleMania just wasn't great to me this year. This Lockdown was an extreme improvement from where they've been. You know, if you're gonna say you've been watching TNA pay, you haven't been watching TNA pay-per-view or their product for a while, and then you just jump on and watch this pay-per-view and you still think this is bad, this is nothing compared to what they were doing. This is so much better than anything they've done and all of this year and probably half of last year. Now let me explain. Yes, I will make the point right now that a lot of people are going to say the crowd was horrible. This crowd was really bad. This crowd was absolutely horrible. They just weren't up in arms for anything. There was times where they, got going, but overall this crowd was dead. They were dead and really dull. But let me make the point that some people aren't really thinking about. They're jumping to conclusion to say that this show sucked, it wasn't good, blah 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 blah. A lot of times with the TNA pay-per-views, they overbook. They overbook their shows. They put too much stuff into their matches. They have ridiculous, unneeded finishes. Now, some people would consider or say some of the finishes on this show or the booking on this show were horrible. But to me, a lot of it made sense, with the exception of a couple things. Let me run through this for you, okay? First match was the Lethal Lockdown, okay? And I'm not a huge fan. I actually can't stand Garrett Bischoff, but if they're going to continue to use him, they want to make the fans actually respect him instead of him being the guy who came in just because his dad was there. Have him go out there and get his ass beat. I found Garrett Bischoff getting his ass beat like the most entertaining thing about this match. Now, they did a smart move. People are saying Eric shouldn't have been in this match. Yes, probably not. But Garrett going over on Eric to get the push, to get the win, made sense, and Eric Bischoff hid in the corner the whole time. He didn't do anything stupid. There was no shenanigans. There was nothing really outlandish in this. People were bitching and complaining because there wasn't a big, top of the cage spot. I get that. There was ladders and tables up there. Pointless. I get that. But this wasn't ridiculous. They always make the Lethal Lockdowns ridiculous. They always try to do a spot that's ridiculous. They always try to do this. I was happy that they didn't mess this up and have shenanigans and people screwing people over and people running in and blah 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 blah. This was not amazing, but this wasn't bad by any stretch. And like I said, getting Eric Bischoff getting his ass beat made sense to me, and I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was amazing. Now, going on the tag match that came after, I don't know if the crowd was just dead from the Lethal Lockdown. I don't see how that would be because it wasn't that exciting, but the fans weren't into this. Let me explain why they weren't into this, okay? Other than the crowd sucked, the fans weren't into this because the Guns just came back and had literally any build. They just came in and they were there, but that's fine. And Joe and Magnus, nobody believes them as a solidified team. They don't have a name, they don't have gear, people don't buy it. People don't buy it like they bought the Guns versus Beer Money. The match was good. It was a solid tag match, better than any tag match that they've had on pay-per-view or television in all of this year. So you can't bitch about that. Then they get into the shitty stuff. Like they had Crimson versus Matt Morgan. You know, the fact that these guys are so ridiculous together, I found it entertaining, but this match was not good either. But it didn't have any ridiculous booking decision in it. Like, they came out of it with Crimson winning, going over the top rope. He didn't get pinned. They're going to continue the feud because Matt Morgan didn't lose by pinfall. That makes sense to me. What's wrong with that booking decision? Even though the match is going to suck, the booking decision made sense to me. The match quality was blah, but whatever. They had Devon versus Robbie E. This was another pointless match, but again, there wasn't like anything so ridiculous that you guys could just jump up and down and bitch and complain about. Devon won. That's it. I mean, it was nothing. It was pointless. It didn't need to be on there, but I mean, it is what it is. Then they have, let's see what they do. Jeff Hardy versus Angle. Great. This is great. These guys always work great together. Even with Angle injured here, this was probably, other than probably the main event, the hottest the crowd was. Even though they weren't super hot for this, spots were good. There wasn't any botches. It was a complete finish. The right person won. There wasn't any bullshit calls. That's what I'm wanting from TNA. If they can give me solid quality, and the booking is not to the point where it's so ridiculous, like where you're like, just nothing was ridiculous where I had to just jump up and down and just freak out about. Hogan and Flair didn't run out in any of the matches. None of the matches were DQ'd. I mean, you know, Turning Point from last year was, you want to see a horrible TNA pay-per-view. Turning Point from last year was one of the worst wrestling pay-per-views I've ever seen, period. This is not even close to that. This was so much better. You know, like I said, Angle, Jeff Hardy here was, like I said, it was good. Like, it was good. They always have good matches together. And then you have the main event, or you have a tag match, which was another pointless match, but it was still fun. It wasn't like it was so hard to sit through. Like, it wasn't entertaining. Like I just don't get it. Like, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge TNA mark. I'm not a mark at all for TNA. Like, most of the time, I don't even like TNA. But, and I'm a huge fan of Ring of Honor. I honestly thought this show was better than both the Ring of Honor shows. Granted, like I said, they both had better matches. One match on both shows was better. But the overall wrestling show quality was just boring to me. I was just not a fan of the Ring of Honor shows, and I thought this was better. Also, you have this was set up just like WrestleMania. You have 3 big matches, and you had, the rest were pretty much filler. But the fillers on this were better than WrestleMania's fillers. And the other matches, to some people's degree, would not live up to the standards of WrestleMania matches. But the overall structure of WrestleMania was horrible this year. I didn't like it. I don't want to sound like some kind of like TNA lapdog, but I think I liked Lockdown more than I liked WrestleMania, and more than I liked Showdown in the Sun shows. Like, some of your people are probably going to just shit all over that, but to me, this came off as one of the best things they've done in a long time. Now, when I get to the main event here, I loved this match. I loved this match. I don't give a shit how it finished. You know, people are bitching and complaining about how this match finished, but would you rather, if they're going to go in the direction of having Roode retain, or Roode have the title again, would you rather go in the direction of him cheating to win again? I mean, at least this way, Storm has another opportunity to say, okay, I can get another match. I get that. A lot of people think Storm should have won here, but they're definitely going in the direction to continue feuding these guys. I get that. I know this should have been the big payoff, but the match was there. This was the best match, I thought, that both of these guys have had this year. Definitely the best match probably that either of these guys have had in the last year at all. I love that it had a really like NWA style cage feel to it. There was blood. There was a lot of brawling. I think this is another match. I think this is going to be a match like in a lot of people's opinions, or well, at least in my opinion, like Undertaker Triple H at WrestleMania this year, where over time it's gonna become better. It's gonna become better after people really sit and think about it and watch it again and see how it was structured. Like I said, yes. People are. I understand if you're gonna comment on this video at all, you're going to say that the crowd sucked ass, and it did. This crowd did suck ass, but a crowd doesn't make a whole wrestling show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make a whole show. It can make a show better, but if a show has 6 4-star matches on it and the crowd's dead the whole time, is it not going to be one of the best shows ever? Still, I mean, I just want to come on here and defend this because I've seen a lot of negative reviews on this already, and I really don't think it's that bad. I found this enjoyable. Like, compared to if you've been watching the TNA pay-per-views for the last year or so, this demolishes everything that they've done. Like, wrestling quality, booking, everything made, like, most of it made sense. The right people won. There wasn't any DQ'd stuff. I get it. People are bitching about, you know, the finish with the Lethal Lockdown as well. Stop bitching. You guys have been bitching about Eric Bischoff, like, leaving for years. For the last 2 years. And he's finally gone. Okay, Garrett's there, so what? You're going to have Garrett wrestling instead of Eric Bischoff coming out there and talking and messing up matches. I don't really care. I don't see Garrett Bischoff going anywhere special, so I'm not worried about it. To me, I thought this was a good, solid show. I thought it was solid. I didn't think it was amazing, but I still thought in the realm, it was in the same realm and in the same area as WrestleMania. I really thought WrestleMania was just not that great this year. It just really just... And same thing with the Showdown the Sun shows with Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor shows this year were just... I was just bored out of my mind through the first, like, 2 hours until I got to the main events. At least with this, I was entertained. So let me know what you guys think about this. I know there's, like I said, there's a lot of negative reviews on this already, but thought I would throw my opinion out there. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm going to get out of here. I'm the Mad Scientist 7A90. Deuces.